Joliet had so much potential, and it was definitely supposed to be the second Chicago. You mess around the east side of Joliet, like, they gonna get on your ass, you know what I mean? Like, the #1 killer of police is suicide right now. One black male suicide is rising. Being black and wanting to be intellectual, it took a long time for me to actually embrace it. Like, the black mind is not respected, especially in the art world, at the level that it needs to be. That the black body is the most important and most powerful body that's ever graced planet Earth. Right? When they say Jesus was sacrificed for our sins, you know what I mean? It wasn't like they asked him, it was nice, you know what I mean? It was brutal, right? Yeah. It showcases the real harsh realities of white supremacy because the eyes are closed to the reality of what's going on in the world, but the mouth is open, right? And the more you have to yell your point, the less your point is valid. Is this something Hitler would say or something Jesus would say? How we get stifled? Racism is the worst in America, but right after racism is classism. The truth that will never change, that you will always have to face. I need to change. So this looks kind of creepy to look at, right? But under all of our flesh, we the same. Yeah. I'm motivated by my life and my death. Yeah. I'm shooting with the eye of the motherfucking trenches.
Look! This is the eye of the trenches!
So it's Qyjon the icon, and I have the privilege of being with the eye of the trenches, young Will. This is my privilege, you know what I mean, to be featured on such a wonderful platform, you know what I mean?
Much love. Oh yeah, family.
We are on the east side of Joliet, inside of my art studio on the east side of Joliet. And we are here to see a different aspect of the trenches, right? We always mainly speak about being in the depths of it, but when you think about the trenches, if you take the metaphor to its level, its necessary level, the entire war is not fought in the trenches. There's a general over there making the strategic plans, and some of us got to make it out the trenches, and then advise others of how to get out of that situation. And that's why I want to be on this exact platform, because I've experienced most of which people would consider being in the trenches. The homeless shelters, the homelessness, the friends getting incarcerated for selling drugs, the this and that, the violence for seemingly no reason, the systematic racism. I've experienced all of it, and I ain't gonna say I came out unscathed, but there's a different way to come out of it rather than, what we're typically given.
You're the product of your environment, pretty much.
Bingo. So we can start here.
So walk us around. Well, show us around. Explain this artwork and everything, brother.
This art piece particularly, it's called Perpetual Victims of the System. Mm-hmm. And why I got these two bodies, one holding the other, and you can see everything, is because if you see each side, you kind of see how both minds are confined. Mm-hmm. Right? If you see each side, you can see what each side goes through.
Absolutely.
It was important for me to depict both because the stereotypical cop is a victim of an inadequate mindset. Mm-hmm. Just like if you are a young black man and you don't break out of the stereotype given to you, you are also going to be a victim of the system. Right? Sure. We don't speak enough about, there's two things happening right now. And this is kind of like the quick synopsis of the art piece, but there's two things happening right now. One, black male suicide is rising, right? Not to start the video off being negative, but then we're dealing with reality. That's the purpose of the artwork.
Absolutely.
Right? And then people who work in law enforcement, especially cops, the #1 killer of police is suicide. It's not terrorism, it's not crazy bank robbers and whatever they might have to think on the news. They are on psychotropic medication and they are killing themselves at an alarming rate. So it really begs the question, you know what I mean? Or really brings the art piece together, because they're perpetual victims of the system, both sides.
With the same outcome almost.
That's the point, you see, and that's why they are merged together. If you look at the middle of the art piece, super important. When you look at anybody through a thermal scanner, you don't even know nothing really about them besides that they got a heartbeat. That's why I got that in the middle to encapsulate. Really, this is just two misguided people for the most part.
Absolutely.
You see. And I do want to move on because I can talk about every art piece for 9 hours because I'm a collage artist, right? So a picture's worth 1,000 words. So I use like 1,000 images to make one image. So I can talk about each piece forever because everything does mean something.
There's so much on here, that, like even from the scar on the brother's arm.
So you get it. You get it, you know. Side note, super side note, you know, whenever you do things, people are like, oh, that's so interesting, da 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 da. I spent $170 on each one of these arms.
You spent $170
on each one of those arms, and it's funny because when they came, like if you're one of my neighbors, you think I'm weird. Like, why is he waving 2 arms? I was so happy when it took them. They special custom made from a dude who made he does special effects, and the special effects like zombie movies and stuff like that. He makes the body parts.
Okay.
So I had to text him and call him and see can they hold each other. He made them custom made where they can hold each other.
So may I ask you this? What's the value of one of this art piece right here?
So that's where it gets into that's when it gets into the systematic. I ain't gonna say oppression to be dramatic, but that's when you get to the system of artwork. And that's also why I wanted to be on this platform, right? Another platform won't do me justice. They only gonna call me in February, right? So art, when it comes to pricing and things like that, you seen that banana that was taped to the thing for like $5 million? Yeah, that's subjective, right? There's all these gatekeepers. So the real answer of what this is whatever value I bring to it. And whatever value the world sees with it, you see. But so there is no particular price. Now, what I will accept for this art piece, I need 3 bands.
You say you need 3 bands?
I need 3 bands. I won't accept nothing less. And it comes with a police light that lights up.
Oh, wow.
I got a functional police light. And then to move on, one thing I'll say about this too, the reason I got the police light is because most people who speak about things in America, and especially now with social media, you've never experienced it. So you're talking about police brutality, but you've never been arrested. You're speaking going, we need more police and more of that. You've never been tackled by a cop, or you've never had to tackle nobody, right? Because both sides are traumatic, right? So that's why I got the lights that light up, because now I'm bringing you to the moment. Now how do you feel? You see? Yeah, but this is a very important art piece, but yeah, I won't accept nothing less than 3 bands for this. That's on a personal note, because you gotta know your value as an artist, right?
How do you learn your value as an artist?
Well, you learn your value as an artist from, like everything else, studying, understanding the unique qualities that you bring. For instance, like this piece, I made this piece, and this is why I want someone to watch this. You young kids out there.
Is this LeBron in the middle?
That's LeBron.
I thought I was tripping at first.
No, see, and this is the thing. A lot of times when it comes to racial dynamics, they want to absolve you of your race the more successful you get. And I talk about celebrities, or I use LeBron to showcase what I'm talking about because we all know LeBron.
Yeah.
Right. If I use some random black scholar or someone, you're not gonna get it. You know what I mean?
It's not gonna hit the same.
My point. But see, we speak about LeBron and we kind of like forget his race. It's like, you know what I mean? But I made this 4 years ago during the pandemic because it kind of hit me when I saw this picture of LeBron. I was like, you know, he does deserve his flowers now.
Yeah.
You know? And all these comparisons between him and whoever, it's like, seesaw that, especially now we saw what he did for his son. Right, and he's the first billionaire to ever play, right?
Black man at that.
That's my thing. You're right on the money. So I showcase him like this because one of my missions as an artist is to ensure that the black image is seen, not just being brutalized and not just in a negative view, but at all aspects of it. You know what I mean? So this is King James. I'm 33. I barely know life without LeBron being the man.
No, facts.
You see what I'm saying? That's a long time with no controversies, no weirdness, no nothing crazy happening. You know what I'm saying? So I put him here with the whole thing, and this thing lights up too.
Oh, you got it saying King right there. Okay. See, what's some things that you want to point out about this piece, brother?
The main thing that I would like to point out is the Africanity. One thing that I don't enjoy, and I'm gonna try to stop saying one thing, but I don't enjoy how many black people feel separated from Africa, and they don't understand that the black body is the most important and most powerful body that's ever graced planet Earth. To this day, the camera you shoot me on, right? The chemical components that made that camera work come from Africa, right? So LeBron James is an African. You see. We just talking about, he's LeBron. No. This is an African man.
Original man.
Bingo. That has held the NBA together, right? And before him, there was Jordan and Kobe is in there. You know, they all kind of overlap. But these are black bodies that are entertaining the world, making billions. You see. So what I want to point out about the piece is how I have him around a lot of African mask and.
I love how you got the panther down there as well, because the panther, the leopard, however you want to say it, right?
Yeah.
But everything starts off with black. Every animal starts off black.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add that to the explanation. But
Yeah,
I thought of that myself.
yeah. And then another thing is, I love how you got the brother with the archery. They say, I was just listening to somebody talk about how Prophet Muhammad said we should all learn how to do archery, because that's one of the most spiritual things that you could do. Yeah, so I just wanted to point that out as well.
I agree, and there's a level of skill and intimacy and appreciation that will come from that type of hunting. So I agree with it, and the mental focus and the body motion that will be needed.
It's kind of like art in a way.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. 100%. So this is one of my favorite pieces.
I ain't beat the back of it. Okay.
So this is like, so I got a beef. I got a love-hate relationship with the brand Supreme. As an artist, when I observe Supreme, I'm like, the fact that they could simplify something so much, but then charge so much. Because I'm gonna stop saying it. When you get into this creative space, when you can simplify something that's so complicated, that's when you're really hitting your stride. Like, that's when you're spitting. That's when you're really working on something. When something is so simple, but it's super complex at the same time. So that's like the brand Supreme really pulled that off. Like,
absolutely.
It's a $300 t-shirt, so you know if I'm wearing it, you know I got it. You know what I mean? But I'm really not doing too much, but I'm doing a lot at the same time.
And the word means supreme is...
You see?
Yeah.
However, the value of that and the thought process behind that, I can't really rock with it. Like the capitalism, the consumerism, like why you spend $300 on a shirt and your credit score is 500? Like, come on, the priorities is like, you know what I mean? So anyway, I got a love-hate relationship with Supreme. You know? So I got this because I made this because I wanted to kind of show what goes on in the average black man's head, you know? So if you look at the collage all around.
You say what really goes on in the average black man's head.
In the average black man's head.
You got Martin Luther King right here. I see you got the pipe right there.
You see?
What else? What else stands out to me? We ain't going nowhere. We protest way too much. We got Malcolm X. Am I not a man and a brother? Okay. What else is on here? Is that Tupac down there?
I think it is. Oh, him? No, that's not Tupac.
No, I'm talking about right here. What's that?
No, that's from there's a book. You know, I'm a collage artist. I have 1,000 books. I'll show you the books over there.
Okay, cool.
But it's from like a prison industrial complex breakdown book. Okay, so they call it a super predators. So that was a super predator, you know what I mean? A thugged out super predator, that's what that was. This is one of my favorite art pieces just because, look at the face
Sosa,
real quick.
You got Tupac.
Look at the face real quick, you see. So this is one of my favorite aspects, right? Sometimes when I create, why I love my artwork and why I'm not afraid, because sometimes it's not cute, you know. Too many people, if you go to the Black Boy Art Show in Chicago, right? Everybody will paint like Martin Luther King with a gold chain or something. You know what I mean? Like something safe, you know. So if you look at this is like creepy, right?
Yeah.
But under all of our flesh, we are the same.
Say that one more time. They gotta know that.
Good. So this looks kind of creepy to look at, right? But under all of our flesh, we the same.
Yeah.
Right? So when you take away your good looks, you an eyeball, you teeth, you a nose, right? So remember that we are the same underneath all that. But on the other side, remember I said this is a black man. That's an African mask.
Yeah.
And I really want more of us to just understand that. I'm not saying take a trip to Ghana every 6 weeks. I'm not saying be dramatic, but overall understand there's a connection between all of us. Besides our humanity, it's also our Africanity at the same time. You know?
Absolutely.
So yeah. This one, you can get a real quick shot of this one. There's not too much to say about this.
Muhammad Ali.
This Muhammad Ali. Now, I done had this one for like 4 or 5 years. I never even showed this to the public. You know, it's got a special place in my heart because I like to make furniture. Because even me, in my own mind, I got to be functional as a black man, a black person. I got to have a function, got to have a use. So I make furniture. This is just, you know, some storage. But quick story about Ali. They don't really explain that he went to jail. Like when you were a kid, they don't explain to you why he's considered the greatest.
Yeah.
He went to jail, came out, and they got the belt back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he was a Muslim and he didn't want to fight
in that war.
Yeah.
In the war that we all kind of agree was not a good war, you know what I mean?
All the wars weren't good wars, though, if we're being honest.
Yeah. My only pushback is that war is a part of human society for millions of years. It's unfortunately something that we all partake in. It's never right.
No, I'm saying, but the reason we are going to war.
Yeah, but I'm thinking just as a part of human society. Unfortunately, you can't name a country that has not been in a war.
If you want peace, you got a war to have peace.
Unfortunately, you know what I mean? So I don't agree with it. So I hear what you're saying. Like, I've never agreed with none of them. World War, none of them. Vietnam, war in Afghanistan, none of them were particularly necessary, you know what I mean? But war in itself is a part of what we do as humans. We can't escape it.
100%.
This one also is aging pretty well. That's another thing too. Why I'm so happy you're here making this video, because we scroll so much. You just scroll. You might have seen the greatest piece of artwork you ever seen. You know what I mean? But you scrolled it. You saw, oh, that's cool. You scrolled it. The physical medium of the artwork. Like, I got artwork that I didn't even like that much when I first made it. But year 5, I'm like, yo, like, that's hard. You know what I mean? Like, or something will happen in the world where now
you can really appreciate
my own work, you know. So this one, if you look in Michael Jackson's eyes.
It's a black baby.
Bingo.
And then it's another black man getting tortured by the police, it looks like.
And as I get older and I look at Michael's whole image, because now, you know, he's passed away, so you kind of see more. Now that I see Michael's whole image, I see how much he really did care about us, right? He never really traded in his blackness, you know what I mean? Absolutely. Physically, his skin became different, but as far as his content, you know, if you go back, a lot of powerful content that he didn't necessarily need to make, you know? A lot of artists, if you're watching this and you're an artist, rapper, content creator, whatever, there's like there's a decision you gotta make. You know what I mean? How true are you really gonna be? You know what I mean? Because the art should outlast you if it's that magnificent. It should outlast you. Okay, what are we gonna remember you for? And this is when I get problems with certain artists nowadays, and I sound bougie, or I sound like an old man complaining. But it's like, Michael's gone. You could play Man in the Mirror right now, and if you really listen to that and you really are in that space, maybe you're alone or whatever, you can cry thinking about that.
And to uplift you at that.
You see what I'm saying? So I know you pressed for time.
No, you good now. Somebody just started calling me.
Okay. So this is one of my personal favorites.
This is a little glare. Are we able to put it like this way real quick?
Still good?
Yeah, we good now.
So this is one of my personal favorites. Got Michael again.
I see you got a lot of inspiration from Dr. King, it seems like.
100%. One of my favorite Dr. King stories, which you got to go to the archives to hear, because anybody who's in the public eye for long enough, usually their story is way more intense than what you hear.
Absolutely.
You get the bullet points. So a lot of black people where he was at, I forgot the state he was in, but they didn't like how he was approaching the protesting. They're like, let's go, you know, balls to the wall, like let's just blitz him, you know. But he was like, no, he's a clergyman, you know, he's a pastor. I forgot, I don't want to misquote, pastor, bishop.
Yeah, I think he is one of those.
He was up there. He was a high-ranking religious person, right? He had some decorum. So he agreed with the sheriff, he agreed with the judge, hey, we're gonna protest over here. We're gonna have, I think they allowed him to have 300 people. And he had them kind of sign up, the church people. They agreed to just protest here. This is what makes Martin Luther King. He agreed to do it that way. From no fault of his own, 3,000 people showed up, right? And that's when society realized, oh, this brother is different. He agreed to 300. He didn't make 3,000 people, but once the word got out where he was at, everybody came to support what this man had going on. So I'll always bring him in there because he shows the power of humanity when you are properly oriented and doing the right thing. There is hope there, you know what I mean? But I love making stuff like this just to bring your brain in both of those directions. Like African mask, Martin Luther King. You know what I mean?
Michael
Jackson, another African mask. And this is the peak right here. You see this brother right here? He's that's a cell house. And this is a brother in Egypt.
Wow.
And I just love that, like, you know, because when you're doing collage, you get really deep into it, you get into a groove, you start to see similarities, you see. And that's definitely a similarity, you know. We can go through these two and then we can go, this is probably one of my highest level of thought as far as an art piece goes. I thought about this for like 2 years. It's very important to me. It's one of my few of my art pieces I won't sell. Everything you saw today is for sale. This one,
This the only one that's not.
no, it is, but it will be harder. Or it's like I'm gonna wait a couple of years because I really love looking at it. I love sitting on it. I love thinking about it. So the concept of this art piece is that you always have a decision, right? Life is a spectrum. When you're having a conflict with people or doing anything, on one end is Hitler and on the other end is Jesus, So when you speak and you have that internal dialogue, you gotta take a step back and ask yourself, who's speaking? Is this Hitler? Is this something Hitler would say or something Jesus would say? And I just love seeing it in the physical realm, as you could say. So, yeah, come on. Did you already film some of this?
Wow.
You see, blue, more calming. Red, you're angry. I love the whole thing. And they're connected. Because a lot of people, what they forget, right? Religious types, they forget. You're still connected to hatred.
It's both. It's balance.
You still have to understand hatred, because if you don't understand hatred, then you'll be bamboozled, or you'll be so taken back by how deep it'll go, right? Because that's what happened when people study the Holocaust. How can people allow it? The people in Germany who allow Hitler to do such a thing, they lacked an understanding of the depth of where evil will go, right? And even to this day, a lot of people forget how deep and how far evil will go. They don't want to believe it because you're a nice person. So your disposition is blinding you to what's really going on or the real capabilities. Speaking of Jesus, I got this over here, this gold art piece. Once again, I like to make functional things. I like to make chairs, I like to make tables. I like to make art that you can use. I don't necessarily like art that's just on the wall, stagnant, because I'm not on the wall and I'm not stagnant, But I like this, another high level art piece because of the Jesuses right here. You see, these are real thorns, or you can really get hurt over here. But that's the point, right? Right, when they say Jesus was sacrificed for our sins, you know what I mean. It wasn't like they asked him. It was nice. You know what I mean. It was brutal, right? No. So you gotta watch how you are. But you come over here, real quick. I got the from Do the Right Thing.
Love, hate,
Love and hate, and the heart is in the middle.
Wow.
Bingo, just like the art piece I just talked about. But it's important to me when I make art to do stuff like this, to have you question those things, because
love and hate rise from the heart, though.
See, you get it. You know what I mean? It's for sale, so I see you like the cherry. You know what I mean? If you don't, you know what I mean? But it's important to make stuff like this too, not just stuff that is easily digestible, or not just make things that are pop culture references, you know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of the time the black mind is not respected, especially in the art world, at the level that it needs to be. And that's one of my fights that's gonna be around forever, right? I can do this forever, because I want to inspire others to, you don't gotta just, like I was talking about earlier, paint Tupac, you see. You don't gotta just be a rapper. Like, there's more creative elements to life than just what you're told you could do, especially given the few lanes that black people are given. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
100%. Even though we create all lanes, we created the roads.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Now this is where people laugh at me. I got this made. This was my grandma, my mom, and then my baby.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an image put together. I got that for Christmas. Put that down. But this is where people laugh at me, because I make thrones. But it's something about sitting on the throne, you know what I mean? We all have a perspective. It ain't finished at the top, but we all sit at a different perspective of life.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I make thrones, is because you're forced to sit up. I can't even slouch in this. I can't do nothing in this but look alert. I can't do nothing in this but look forward. I can't do nothing in this but look like I got something going on for myself.
100%.
And it's important to me, for anybody who might buy this, or anybody who sees it and they like what they see, that's what I want to push upon the next man, is, sit up straight, focus, look forward to a better future, you know what I mean? And as I say that, if you look at the collage, I got it all redded out
Oh, it's different skulls from the black skull to
100%. And the reason that I had, you looking forward, like everything I just said about looking forward to the future and all that, is because most of the time for us who are in the fight going forward, a lot of this is behind us. A lot of understanding of death, a lot of loss, a lot of contemplation. There's the brain right there. A lot of understanding of birth to death, right? Because that's really what should motivate you. People ask me, how do you make so many art pieces? Or how do you do this and do that and do this? I'm motivated by my life and my death. There was a study that they said if you put the smell of cheese or like food in a mouse maze, right? Mm-hmm. The mouse will run around that maze for a long time to get the cheese. Wow. Right? But eventually it stops. It's full, it's da-da-da. But if you put the smell of the cheese and the smell of a cat, right? It's continuously motivated because it wants to eat, but it also knows that there's a cat around, right? So it's motivated by its life and death. Just to explain the analogy further.
Wow. Nah, that's deep right there, for real.
Yeah. I appreciate it because we are all motivated, or you should be, right? So for me, sometimes when I want to sleep, but the art piece is on my mind, I'm like, no, I gotta do that.
They say sleep is the cousin of death.
See, you know what I mean? You never know, And
he stopped talking articulate right there. He said,
yeah, because it's real though, you know what I mean? Because we could die right now. Lightning could strike me right now. You know what I mean? Now what happens with that idea? And the thing with art, you talked about pricing art earlier. Now this is the conundrum that God does, right? Yeah. He laughs at us. He has a sense of humor, So you live your whole life. You making artwork, you know what I mean? Cool. Something happened to you. You 56, you 70, whatever. You passed. Mm-hmm. You just was old. You just handed stuff for years. Your daughter posted a picture. Oh, what do I do with this? My dad just died. R.I.P. Somebody called her. How much you selling that for? Now you're a world famous artist, but you dead. Mm-hmm. Like that's how God does it. You know what I mean? It's bizarre. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's move on. I got like 2 more art pieces. Okay.
Okay, what's it?
So this is when I talked about how art ages the right way, right? So I made this in 2020 I made this, right? Mm-hmm. One thing that I don't partake in anymore is certain levels of debate. I don't partake in certain levels of debate with anybody anymore or as often because most people do not want to change their mind.
Yep, they want to stay where they at.
And I realized that I'm weird. I like to change my mind. If you could tell me something right now.
I ain't gonna lie, that ain't weird. I feel like that's smart. A wise man learns from everything.
If wise people weren't rare, you see, the world would be completely different. You know what I mean?
But you got a point. I guess you are weird.
Yeah. But I embrace it. And that's another reason why I want to be on Eye of the Trenches, because there's a lot of, when I was younger, being black and wanting to be intellectual, it took a long time for me to actually embrace it. Like it took a very long time.
Nah, because they act like you a goofy for wanting to be that way.
You have no idea the things that I've experienced because of that. You know what I mean? And I look back, and I had as a matter of fact, I'm gonna send him the clip. My boy Daniel Thomas, when I was like 18, 19, I had said something about his jeans, right? I was like, oh, your jeans, whatever, right? He was, oh yeah, I do think you a genius. I was like, back up. I was like, what did you say to me? He was like, no, I think you a genius. I was like, I was talking about your genius, but what do you mean? And then he explained, he's like observing you, being your friend, knowing you all these years, all things that you've done, all things you probably gonna do. He's like, I respect you for the way you think. Never heard that in my life. You know what I mean? So, but whatever. As far as that, that's why I want to be on your platform too, because there's more of us out here. It ain't just people, what they say, flogging. People thinking they tough. It ain't just that. You know what I mean? It ain't just people who need to be reformed. You know, there's other people out there. You know. But back to this real quick, because this is one of my most famous art pieces. Made it in 2020, 2021, and the reason I made it because I wanted to argue with nobody. Look at the photos, and you tell me when America was great. Right, so you can time travel with this. I'm taking you on a time travel journey. 1860s.
Hold on, go back up.
To 1860s.
Okay.
Right. 1960s.
Okay.
1980s. 2020s or 2020, you know, and beyond. And you can just see the subjugation. You can see how it evolves. You can see how
America's never been great for us.
my point, right? You can see how the evilness just keeps transpiring. And I don't need to speak. I'm not angry about it. I'm not crying. I'm not holding up a sign. And I love artwork. It can age. So now we see what's happening right now. And if you look at this, his eyes are closed, but his mouth is open. You see, and that's the real scary aspect of white supremacy, is that the eyes will be closed to the realities of the world, but the mouth will be open.
Wow.
Screaming. You see.
Hold up. You gotta say that again, brother.
So the middle piece of this, right? It showcases the real harsh realities of white supremacy, because the eyes are closed to the reality of what's going on in the world, but the mouth is open, right? And the more you have to yell your point, the less your point is valid, right? If your point can't just be simply said or written down, then it's invalid.
Yes, sir.
And this is put in the middle.
And you said take us to a time where America was ever great. So you went from
1860s, 1960s,
Okay.
1980s,
Okay.
and the 2000s and beyond. And there's subjugation at every level. In every time frame, you can see a clear-cut slavery, clear-cut civil rights, clear-cut war on drugs, clear-cut DEI has to go, right? Which we know what that language really means. That's a different video. But this is important to me. This is one of my most famous art pieces, because sometimes you hit the nail on the head. Sometimes you make something that's undeniable, right? Which brings me to, I know you got a time check.
No, you good. Keep going, bro. No, don't worry about that right now.
Brings me to this. Now this, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna, what they say, I'm not gonna hold you. This shit really pissed me off, right? I'm 33 years old, so I'm getting to that age where I'm remembering things that people on the internet or whatever, they're not remembering, right? So Eminem, right?
Yeah.
I was at work and this dude was like, man, Eminem's corny. And my mama, bring it back to my mom was born in the 60s, 70s, 80s, you know, so whatever. She had me at 30. Eminem came out 2000, so whatever. My mom was like 36, 37, whatever, 39. And he has this song where he's killing or he's doing something crazy, right? My mom let me listen to it, and she said, this level of freedom of speech did not exist when I was a kid. This level of showcasing that raw emotion did not exist. I remember when it was picketing in the streets.
Yeah.
Because my mom, you know, she had a choice to make. She could either hide Eminem from me. Come on, bro, that's not gonna work.
You're gonna find them on your own.
Or
that's
she,
even worse.
yeah, or she was like, listen to this and see the self-expression in it, right? So when he called him corny, it made me mad, because like, how soon do we forget? Like, this man did not become one of the most famous people on the planet because he did not have talent. And another thing about the eye of the trenches, right? A lot of these people you see on TV, a lot of these people you see on the internet, influencers, right? They not really from the gutter. You can Google Eminem down to the bone. He's actually from 8 Mile. He actually was in school getting beat up. His mom actually gave him prescription drugs he wasn't supposed to get him. He actually was in foster care. So when you see the weirdness of him, or you see the uncomfortableness of some of the stuff he was saying in his music, he's really from that though. It's not an act.
That's made him that way though.
You see, so I identified my whole childhood, adolescence. I identified with Eminem, not all of it, because some of it is too crazy, but I identified with what my mama told me to identify with, the self-expression. This is a voice you don't hear often.
Facts.
Because even how we get stifled, racism is the worst in America, but right after racism is classism. Poor white people don't hear nothing, right? Their voices aren't really heard. Poor people's voices are not heard in America.
Simple.
There you go. So I just want to break down a couple elements of the piece before I move on.
Okay, cool.
If you see this, this collage is all over. I got the blood splatter paint. I got this authentic. This once again, it's big for me to bring you to the moment. I gotta bring you to the moment as an artist. That's why I got the head over there. I got the Jesus things on the chair. I got all that stuff. So the chainsaw is to let you feel it. And I won't go through everything here because it's kind of self-explanatory, but I'll go to this one right here. Can you read that?
I need to change.
This, why I love art. I love art for stuff like this, because it's 4 a.m. I'm sitting there cutting up all these pieces of paper, right? And I got the young Eminem, middle-aged Eminem, and then like old Eminem. And I think about his life in the public eye. He was a drug addict, crazy Dr. Dre, crazy white boy, psychotic rapper. Then he got sober, right?
Mm-hmm.
He got sober. He realized his antics wasn't gonna work. He almost died. He had to get what's that with the resuscitated, right? And we've yet to see him be old, but he's gonna get there.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes you think of how my life as well. That's why I love it.
Cycles.
You see what I'm saying? Because younger me, running with guys who, like right now, I would never do that. Risking my life for one of my guys or my boys or whatever, I would never do that. Treating women a certain way, I would never do that now. I would never do that. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm closer to this, like, got a little wisdom, moving a little bit different. You know what I mean? But one day I'll be old and gonna have to look back, and the truth that never changed, the truth that will never change, that you will always have to face. I need to change.
People ask for his oil change right there too.
See, look at you connecting the dots. I like that, you know what I mean? But this, I'll be driving and thinking about this. Like, damn, I need to change.
Yeah.
I'll get an argument with my girl. Damn, I need to change.
You could have did that better. Self-reflection.
You see, it's forced upon you whether you like it or not. So as you look at an artist like Eminem and say, he's corny, or you look at anybody and you judge them, it's like, at that moment right there.
This piece look like it's heavy, boy.
It's decent. It's decent. So that's really all the art pieces I wanted to show. I do want to show this too. This isn't just for people's entertainment. This is also for me to look back at when I was cool.
So what would you tell yourself 5 years from now when you watch this again?
Well, hopefully I make some more money off this. So I would tell myself, hey, man, hopefully you make some more money. But come look at this real quick.
Okay, cool.
Because see all these books? I want to show all the books I got.
You do a lot of research, I see, bro.
Well, these are picture books, and I'm doing this too because a lot of people think when I make like the Unity chair, the one that I made for Golden Child. Shout out to Golden Child, appreciate it. Big Unity, appreciate, love what you do. I had to make that chair because it was speaking to me at like a spiritually deep level. You know what the brother is trying to accomplish, what the Unity movement is trying to do. Some of them pictures are from the Instagram posts. You probably even took some of them pictures, right? But some of them, there's actually a book from the 90s. And there's something about the transference of that energy. So like, I took a lot of the pictures from over here.
Okay, good.
Like this is a book actually from the 90s.
You giving them the sauce right now, bro.
Yeah. Well, and this is from our collage artist because it's important because the photographer curated this. He curated this 30 years ago.
Wow.
You see, I didn't just Google, and think about it, I couldn't even Google black man's hand with like, you know, it wouldn't even make sense, you know what I mean? Sure. So you really got to go to the books. You really got to get in there. You really got to go through it, at least if you're a collage artist, you know.
They say do your research, do your homework.
100%. And I had to show it. I had to show this part because a lot of people don't know what goes into it. They see a crisp, clean art piece and they don't understand. Like, it took a lot to make that. It wasn't just like thrown together like haphazardly. Like, it took a lot for that to come to fruition, and that's the same process that you have to go through with yourself, right?
So you what's this called when you make it like this, brother?
What do you mean?
Because that's that same piece out there. Yeah.
It's just a poster. I took a picture of it.
Okay.
And then they made a poster for me when I had a collage art sale.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know what to call it, but yeah, that's hard. Yeah.
That, you know what I mean? But Joliet had so much potential, and it was definitely supposed to be the second Chicago. Like, Chicago is a city of the future. So Chicago is amazing. If you really sit in Chicago and you see the trains and you see the this and you see the that, you put it all together, because you got to travel first. You can't love Chicago until you leave Chicago. Yeah. You can't love Chicago until you leave Chicago. No, you can't understand what's really going on.
I had to realize that too. Once I went to Atlanta, made me love Chicago so much more.
My point. So Joliet was supposed to be Chicago Part 2. The way the trains work, the way the schools work, the way the works. Like, you could just see how this was really supposed to be a second amazing city. It kind of fell short, but I do like Joliet, you know what I mean? Because, you know, the way I live my life, you know, I kind of like knowing, like, you know, you can't just be out doing whatever you want to do in the street. Like, you mess around the Eastside of Joliet, like, they gonna get on your ass, you know what I mean? Like, I like living in that environment a little bit, you know what I mean? Just a little bit, not too much, of course. You want to be safe for your children and stuff like that, but it's nice to have that, because you got to be street smart, right? You always got to have that feeling in you, like, oh yeah, it's time to go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to have that awareness. And so Joliet, it's a city with potential, I'll say that. And the way that they're doing the construction and stuff like that, things are looking up. So I hope this Joliet gets bigger and better. I don't want nothing negative for the city.
100%.
Yeah.
So who you shooting with, brother?
I'm shooting with the eye. Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, you good.
I'm shooting with the eye, the motherfucking trenches. You know what I mean? This young brother is doing it. You know what I mean? Amazing content. This is where I wanted to go.
The platform right now.
Me, this is Qyjon the Icon. That's who I am. That's my artist name. You know what I mean? I'm with Eye of Trenches. It's been a wonderful thing. Check me out on IG. Well, check me out on this channel. I'm coming back. So y'all get these views up so he come back to Eastside Joliet. We chop it up again. You know what I mean? So
Yes,
I see you guys.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, family.
Nah, I appreciate you, dude. I appreciate it.